So the next steps, I'm going to show you how we get the speaker wire in, how I get the programming cable coming out of the head in there. So there's your projector. So this is your power. This is your front controls, which control the volume and the and if there were different videos on the head, there's a center button that'll tell you. We'll push through the different videos, and this is your speaker. But the thing is, this is the cord this is the connector that comes on the speaker. It's a JST 2.0, I believe, and you can see it's not going to fit. So what I'm going to end up doing is, here is the speaker that comes with the Huntley's head. So might as well just move on here. We're going to unscrew this. And where's my screw? Oh, here it is. I love this little magnetic screw holder here. Keeps all your screws organized. So, okay, so those are little tiny screws for that. We're not going to need this anymore, and we're not going to need this. So I looked on the speaker here, and it tells me that it is a 4 ohm 3 watt speaker. 4 ohm 3 watt speaker. So I searched and I found a 3 watt 4 ohm speaker. I picked these up on Amazon. They come two in a pack, and they come automatically with a JST connector on one end. As you can see here, they're together, but there's your, which is, let me put this over here, which is this speaker you see right here, and this is the cord coming up. So what we have to do in order to get it to fit into the circuit board, I'm going to cut these wires right here. But just leave a little bit of room in case I ever wanted to use the speaker somewhere else, and I can still connect something to it. So we're going to cut that off, and I want to keep the plastic piece just in case. You never know, another project might come up where I could use this somewhere else. So we cut that off, and I'll put that back in there like that. This goes in this way, that's right, it goes in this way because it was facing that way, so we'll put that aside. So now I got the connector that's made to go right there. So I just need to put, I went to, on Amazon, actually the package might say what these are. I think they're JST PH 2.0. That's what this is, a JST, P as in Paul, H as in Harry 2.0. That's what this is, that comes with the speaker. And this is the female end, and this is the male end. In this package, you're gonna get both male and female. And then, so that gets me that connection I need. Now I need to get this connection on the end so I can feed it in the head and put it on the circuit board. And I will show you how to do that. So let's move on. So let me get this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing here. So what I do is we're going to strip. This has pretty good coming out, but I'm just going to give it a little bit more here. Okay. I'm going to strip these guys up, expose the wiring here. Not all of it came off on that one. Let's get some more. There we go. Okay, and then these are the, this is the actual plug that came with the speaker that came into the Huntley's head, which is here. You see, I just cut it. I left me a little room in case I ever wanted to put maybe one of these ends on it or something for another project in the future, so you can put that aside. So now we're going to expose the wires here. And this one's a thinner wire. It's probably a 22 gauge. Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna strip this one a little bit more because it's so thin I can wrap it around. There we go. And what's great, for all you DIYers out there that don't know how to solder, I'm going to show you something really cool. All you techie guys, I'm sorry if this is boring for you, but I'm just trying to do this so anybody can do this build here. So you can move on if you don't want to watch all this here. So I stripped the wires. I left myself some good meat there. So you want to go black to black and red to red. But check these out. These are solder sleeves. These are great if you don't want to. I can solder, but I don't care to if I don't have to. And I found these are great because it's basically a piece of shrink tubing with a solder in the middle and glue on the edge. The colors of them will tell you what gauge wire. So here's their chart that it comes with. You have your red. Red is for, you know, your 22 to 18 and 20 and here and so forth. So we're going to go with the 22 to 18 gauge, which is the red. And what's great is the colors, whether it's red, green, blue, whatever, this is glue. So once you heat it with the heat gun, this is going to melt this glue and seal it up really nice, shrink this whole thing down, and melt this solder that's in the middle here. And it's going to solder your connection for you, so you don't have to worry about soldering. So I'm going to show you how that works. Okay, so the wires are all stripped. And then I showed you how I'm going to use these solder sleeves. So here we go. So these solder sleeves have two openings on them, a wider one and a skinnier one. You want to take the skinnier opening and put it through this way and leave the wider opening to slide over, and just in case when you put your two wires together it becomes thicker. Actually, I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger here, a little bit more wire. There. Get as much exposed wire as you can without getting too much. That way you make sure that the solder gets in there and connects it. So you're going to make sure you slide one on one of the ends first. Red to red, black to black. Okay, and so for all you techie people that know how to do all this stuff, you can move forward. I just want to make sure that anybody can do this, even if they don't know how to solder. So that's it. See how my wire's together there? Now I'm going to slide this over so this silver part, which is the solder, is right where the wires are. Then we're going to head over to my heat gun here. You can use a lighter also, but be careful when you use a lighter because you can burn it. So I will go ahead and just leave it here and just kind of go back and forth. You can see how the plastic is starting to, the shrink tubing starting to shrink. And then there goes the solder. See all that silver? It's a brighter silver in there. Let's go ahead and get this over here to shrink it on that end. See how the red glue all spread in there nicely, and you got that solder spread in there. And we got ourselves a solder joint. And let's move on to the other one. Grab another one here, same thing. Put the small end in. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to twist it up. All right, slide over our solder seal. Put it over the area where the two wires meet. And do the same thing. We're going to seal that up there. And there goes the solder. I don't know if you can see that. It's all running in there. I'm just going to seal up this end right here on the skinny part. You can see all that. See, the glue has already melted and spread, which is what we want. The solder is soldered. And there we go. Now we can take this. We'll end up going right where it belongs. And then this is going to go on the end of here. So now we just created our connection of our external speaker on the bottom to the circuit board. So that's one thing done. Our next thing I'm going to do before I put the projector back in the head is I want to be able to access this projector without opening the head. So I found these are extension cables. So basically it's if you want to extend, they make them for all the different size USB. So this is a micro USB, which is what this is. What's nice because it has this end on one end to go in here, but it also has this end on the other end. So basically it's extending this port out. So I'm going to put this in before I put the projector in, and then I'm going to, there it is. So there it is right there. Then I'm going to feed this through, I'm going to drill a hole right here where the speaker used to be, so I can run my this speaker cord in so I can connect it. And then I'm going to feed this cord through that same hole, and then I'm going to bring the cord through one of these holes on the bottom here out. So it'll probably end up down here somewhere. I'll just kind of let it hang there. So now when the prop is all put back together, you're going to have basically this port, which is basically this, sticking out right here. So you can actually plug in your micro USB to your computer, and you can access the files in the projector if the file gets corrupted or something happens, or you want to change it to for different holidays, or put a talking pumpkin or whatever with Madame Leota hair on it. You can put whatever video you want and access it without having to take the globe off and the head off and all the wig and opening it up and get into the projector. So now this is going to give you this plug right here is going to give you access to the projector. So moving on to the next steps here. Okay, so I explained to you how I got the cord on here, how I got the correct end for the external speaker to go in. So now I'm going to drill a hole where the old speaker used to be, and so I can run this cord and I can run this cord here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to temporarily untape this wire, because this just holds, this wire goes to the 3 buttons. This is your low volume, turn down volume, up volume, and this head had multiple videos on it, and this is how you would change to go from different files. But this button, you're not going to need it because it's going to be the one file on there, which is going to be the Madame Leota. And then that's why when I put the globe on, the globe on, I do not glue it down. 2 reasons: in case you need to get in there and adjust her hair, if something happens to it and some hair gets out of place and goes across her face. And you can just basically just lift up the top of the globe and reach your fingers in there, and you can turn the volume up and down this way. So that's this connector in here, so I can just get this out of my way so make it easier to drill. Then of course you saw this bit I used everywhere, because this is like having a whole bunch of bits in one bit. So I'm not going to need much. I'm probably going to just go in about maybe 1, 2, 3 or 4 notches in, and that'll get me what I need to drill my, actually I'm going to drill it this way. So let's see, this looks like a good spot to start. And be careful, make sure your hands are not in the way of the drill bit. Don't want anybody getting hurt building this project. Yeah, so I only went about that far. See, there we go. So now we got our hole to pass our wires through, and I'm going to go ahead and put the projector back in and feed my wires out. Actually, I'm going to have to make it bigger. Oh yeah, this end's bigger. So let's see if that's big enough to go through. Yep, that's what I need right there. Okay, so like I said, now I'm going to go ahead and put the projector back in the head, and I'm going to run this speaker wire into the circuit board and then out here, so I can connect it in the back of my there. So I hope I left enough room. I think I did. If not, I'm gonna have to feed it from there before I put it back together. So we'll see. All right, so let's go ahead and so now this is gonna have this on it now. So we'll go ahead and we're gonna move this out of the way. I can put it right there, the power cable. So So actually, we can go ahead and connect the power cable right now to it. Okay, that's done. I'm going to put this back in. Okay, there's our cable. I'm going to feed that through there. Okay, there's our cable. Let's see if this is going to be long enough. Maybe. Here's our speaker. Put that back in there, right there. Oh, cool. I have room. Yes. Awesome. Okay. I hope I didn't leave it too short, but I didn't. So perfect. So there's our two wires coming out the back of the head, which are this is gonna connect to this speaker right here. And this is gonna just sit at the bottom here so you can access the projector. So that part's done. Now we're gonna bring this side of the head back over, and I'm gonna retape this. Let's see, where was it? I think it was right about here, I think it was here. Yeah, retape that. Oh no, too much. Let's go this way more. All right, so we'll retape this wire here like that. Okay, and then where this is for the front controls, your volume and your change the videos. If it had, put your finger here because it's a thin board. If you put too much pressure, see how it starts to bend. So I put my finger here just to make sure I don't bend. And you want to you're going to want to feel that click when it goes in there. We're good to go. All right, so let's back up here. I was getting ahead of myself. How about we screw in the projector first? That would help, huh? All right. So I separated all my screws. So these are the two tiny ones that held the speaker in. We're not going to need those anymore, but these are the smaller screws that hold the projector. So it just takes two of them. Let's go ahead. And you're going to just make sure it seats. You're going to feel it kind of, there it goes. You want to make sure it sits in there and where it belongs. And like I mentioned earlier, these magnetic screwdrivers are awesome. You just get your screw on there and now we're going to get that projector in there. Okay, we'll get the other one. Is it lined up? And yes, it is. Okay. So let's make sure this wire is not interfering with anybody. Everything's looking good. Okay, we got all our connections back. Now we'll put the head back together. So I showed you how I took it apart. So you don't need to see. Basically, we're just going to take these. So here, I just make sure your wires are coming through. There's your speaker, and here's your programming cable. Actually, what I am going to do before I put the head back together, so in case something gets loose, I'm going to get a piece of tape. Here, I'll get some electrical tape. And tape this guy, this wire, the speaker wire that's right there at the edge from going back in the head. Then I have to take the head back apart to get to it. So let me just do that. So you just want to give it the, oh, nice, it twisted on me, huh? All right, let's try it again. All right, so I'm just going to tape this wire like this to the programming cable so it doesn't feed back in there. So like I said, it takes 7 screws. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm not going to bore you with putting the head back together. So I'm going to do that, screw the head back together, and then we'll move on to the next part. On to the next steps. So recap, I showed you how to do this. I put the fairy lights on. We ran the wires, the battery pack, the speaker, the fairy lights plugs, got them all secure under here. Then I went inside the head and I ran a connector right here, which is going to the circuit board for the speaker. This right here is the programming cable. It's going into the circuit board also. So now you can program the video projector inside without having to take the whole prop apart. So as I showed you before, this is the the other end right here, which is going to go right here for the speaker. And that's over here I showed you. You just get the matching ends. And then we use these solder sleeves to hook up the other end. We need it to go into the circuit board, but you saw all that in the other video. So now I'm going to take this tape off that I used to make sure this didn't slide inside the head while I was putting this out here. I hope I can find the end here. Where is it? If I can't find it right away, I'm just going to cut it off. Yeah, I don't know where the other end is. I'm just going to cut it. Careful not, if you do this, don't cut the wire. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to, oh boy, this Velcro really holds, man. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and hook up the speaker. These will only go in one way, so don't worry about hooking it up wrong. There we go. See? And you can also verify red to red and black to black and all that stuff. Okay, so now we're gonna take this excess here and just feed it inside the head. Let me spin it this way so you can see what I'm doing. All right, we can adjust that later. This is gonna get fed down here. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and get the head centered on here. So as I mentioned before, you're gonna measure 4 inches from the base right here. Okay, so here, it's gonna come forward more. So I just wanna lightly put it on here because this is really strong Velcro. A little more. Bring it forward a little more. Let's see, a little more here. There we go. There's our 4 inches, and then we want 3.5 inches, or excuse me, 3.25 inches. Boom, right on the money. Okay, so just verify here too. 3.25. All right, now we're just going to go ahead and just give it just a little twist because this is a hook and loop, so you want to make sure the everything all grabs onto each other. And look at that, that ain't coming off. So there we go. Let me just do one more verification that that is what we got here. 4 inches and 3.25 and 3.25. Done. So we got our Hot Lids head on. Let's plug it in here. Now I'm going to go ahead and just plug in the power cable. See which way it goes here. The curved part goes up, so it's got to go this way. This way. Get our power cable in there. Come on. There we go. Oh, maybe not really. Let's see, is it crooked or is that in? Oh, it's in. Okay, then I'll feed the rest of this cable in. Okay, so there it is. We put the head on, I showed you that. I fed the, connected the speaker and fed it in there. Ran the data cable here. So I'm just gonna put a piece of Velcro and just kind of keep it down here. So this is the cable now you're gonna use to go ahead and program the computer in the chip in there, the projector, so you don't have to open the head. That's the extra cable I ran out there, so we can tuck that away. And let's give it a test. Now this is a head that Mindscope sent me because I'm building a couple for them, and they wanted to keep all their files and just wanted me to add the Madame Leota. I'm still going to put the hair and do everything like the Madame Leota, but they wanted to show other files on there because they're going to use these at conventions to show off their product. So when I turn it on, it's probably going to have one of their files on it. Yep. So remember I mentioned these 3 buttons in the front here. This is volume down, this is volume up, and this is to change the files. So one of these files is Madame Leota. Let's find it here. And I can't. So moving on, I made a couple changes I wasn't happy with. I didn't like the red speaker wire. So the speaker wire has this bright red and it was just coming out the back. I didn't like that. So I just went underneath and I just took this, it's just Velcroed on here. And I just took some black electrical tape, good old fashioned black electrical tape. And I just wrapped the wire all the way. And you don't have to do the whole wire, so I kind of measured where it goes in, now from maybe about a couple inches inside the head. It's just red. I just made sure that I got any of the red showing out of there, so just nice and clean. It just looked too funny. Didn't like that red wire. So that's one little change I suggest. And then after talking with Bob Gurr, he said, hey, is there a way we can kind of hide all these wires? And I thought, yeah, that's a good idea. So we came up with this idea. So I'm going to add something really cool and new. I'm going to add this at the bottom. It adds a little, like kind of maybe a smoke effect, I'm going to say, like, you know, I think this should come out really cool. So we're going to try this and like that. And you can see what it looks like when the lights are on. Again, this is not perfect. I'll clean it up, but I just want to show you what it looks like. So this is good. This is a Huntley's file on here, but I showed you earlier. I'm building this one for Mindscope because they wanted to keep their original files, and then you can change all the way through. And you just saw Madame Leota go by, but I can't play her. I'll just give you a quick look at what she looks like here. Come on. You see? There he goes. So I can't really play her. But anyways, I think this is going to look really cool. It's going to hide all these wires, and you can see all the twinkling lights coming through there. So I think I'm going to do this forward. It's a great idea that I'm going to continue on and do this look right here for my builds forward. And all this is just some pillow stuffing. So all right. So then we're going to move on to getting the hair done. And then we will be done.